finishes, Zach is gonna call
Okay.
you up and you come home.
Testing, testing. Hello? Welcome to the Eagle Court of Honor.
Paul, underneath the mic.
Oh, I'm sorry. B. B. Bravo. Welcome to the Eagle Court of Honor. Welcome to the Eagle Court of Honor. Welcome to the Eagle Court of Honor. Welcome to the Eagle Court of Honor.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Welcome to the Eagle Court of Honor.
Oh, Paul. I know what's wrong. The speakers are not on. See, there are 4 speakers.
Oh.
You need to turn them on.
Okay. At the speaker.
Move them like right here.
Hey, how you doing? Hello, testing. Welcome to the Eagle Court of Honor. Welcome to the Eagle Court of Honor.
So this
Yes.
can also be used.
That-
So this one,
Where's Al?
sorry. No, we're just testing, sorry.
Al, 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 come here.
Could be feet. So maybe the MC could use this, for instance, and then those people who give speeches or. Oh,
The reason why he's asking is because you wanted 2 of these.
yeah.
So do you still want 2 of them?
Oh.
You need a second.
Test mic. Hello. Test. B. C.
Test mic, test mic.
Hello. Can you hear me? Okay. Who's using this? I need to test the volume. Who's using this?
Okay. Okay. Test. Okay. Testing, testing, Arrowman, Brother Guide. Who are these persons? Hmm?
When you're speaking,
Brother Guide, who are these persons who seek admission to our circle? Good? Perfect.
now be careful
Mm.
because there's feedback. When you pass this low ceiling, there could be feedback. So are you going to walk
No,
down there?
I'm staying back here.
Stay around here.
Mm.
not on.
Testing, testing, testing. Can everybody hear me okay? I am Zach Renvalski, Section E9 Chief, Tribal Chief for this evening, and I welcome you as we open our lodge for this special ceremony. Today we honor two who have excelled as scouts and as airmen. Two young men who have reached the pinnacle of scouting by attaining the Eagle rank, Bo Griffey and Lucas Ramos. This is a moment worthy of celebration. Before we begin our ceremony, several of our members here deserve special recognition. First, Eric Rates, Council Commissioner and Vigil OA member. Jeff Bobrow, Vigil OA member and Blue Heron Lodge advisor. Father Rene Castillo, Church of the Holy Family Charter Organization head. John Scheib, Eagle, Vigil OA member and our keynote speaker for this afternoon. Paul Wang, Eagle, Vigil OA member, advisor, and Scoutmaster. Eric Disher, Scoutmaster of Troop 587, OA member. Jennifer Graham, Scoutmaster of Troop 587, OA member. Past Scoutmasters Dr. Desai, Miss Marie Old, and ASM Jim Fry, and Miss Russell. The Griffey family, the Ramos family, and the rest of the guests here with us. To further honor our Eagle Scouts, I invite each of you to a special reception immediately following the ceremony. I remind all that we are in a place of worship and proper reverence is appreciated. Now, as we are all one nation and live under one God, please rise for the invocation presented by Father Rene Castillo, Church of the Holy Family pastor and troop chaplain, and remain standing for the presentation of the colors.
Excuse me, let me get the text. I couldn't find it in my email, so one second. God of our ancestors, God of all creation, we praise and thank you on this day of celebration and accomplishment. Bo Griffey and Lucas Ramos have walked down the path and navigated the trail that brings them to this Eagle Court of Honor. We are grateful, O God, for the commitment they have demonstrated. We are proud that they took seriously the responsibilities and obligations of a scout, weaving the values of our movement into the rich fabric of their lives. We are mindful of the strength and effort it requires for a young person to arrive at this special moment. Bless, O God, their parents whose love nurtured, encouraged, and supported them on their trail to Eagle Scout. May their parents be privileged to rejoice in all their accomplishments yet to come. Bless also those dedicated leaders who worked with Bo and Lucas, teaching them, molding their character, contributing to the values they reflect, both as a scout and as a person. We pray, O God, that Bo and Lucas will recognize the responsibility soon to be placed on their shoulders. As Eagle Scouts, they join the company of those who have, by word and deed, upheld a way of life and an approach to living that reflects the best in our nation. May they serve as role models for their troop, May their lives reflect the values of the Scout Law, the Scout Oath, and their faith traditions. Bless all of us who gather here to give you thanks and praise. In your most holy name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. You may be seated. I now would like to call on Council Commissioner Eric Raitz as representative of the Boy Scouts of America to officially convene this Court of Honor.
It is my honor, on behalf of National Capital, National Council and Tidewater Council, to convene this Court of Honor solely for the purpose of awarding the Eagle Scout Award to Bo Griffey and Lucas Ramos. Chief.
I now would like to welcome our keynote speaker, Mr. John Scheib.
Father, Troop 587, Troop 5587, members and leaders, members of the Blue Heron Lodge, who's so fine? PIPSCO summer camp staff, a lot of whom are here, invited guests, and especially the Lucas and Ramos families, thank you for having me today. Lucas and Bo, congratulations. This is a really big day. I'm honored that you asked me to visit with you and your guests here today for a little while. As an Eagle Scout myself, I know what a huge accomplishment this is for you. Welcome to the club. Earning at least 21 merit badges, holding leadership positions, and completing your Eagle Scout project are all accomplishments that you will remember for the rest of your life. Every rank in scouting must be earned. This is not baseball or soccer where everybody gets a trophy. Your parents can't learn how to tie knots for you. Your parents can't get all the nights camping. You have to do it. You have to earn every badge and every rank on the Trail to Eagle. Although your Court of Honor may seem like the culmination, attaining the rank of Eagle Scout is not really an end, it is a beginning. For unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall be much required. You have not been given the rank of Eagle Scout, you have earned it. And knowing you like I do, and watching how you worked with newer scouts all last summer at Pipsco Scout Reservation, I know that you will pay it forward. You've demonstrated a willingness to set high goals and the ability to work hard to reach them and to fight for them. So today we celebrate your success in earning the rank of Eagle Scout. That's why today I'm going to talk about failure. I've told other Eagle Scouts that it's very important to find a philosophy to guide you through life. I'd suggest to Lucas and Bo that you already have one that's been passed down for over 100 years. This book happens to be 65 years old. Ironically, it cost 65 cents back then. I'd like for you to come up and look at page 26 and 27. It's the Scout Law. Not one word has changed. It's the same Scout Law that you have learned through your scouting career. And as a memento, so that you remember the tradition that you're a part of, I'd like for you each to have a copy of that book. All right. Whenever you face a hard decision, or you're not sure what to do as a friend, a brother, a son, a leader, pause and think of the Scout Law. It is always a good place to start. It's also good to note what is not in the Scout Law. It does not say a scout is perfect. I am not, your guests are not, you will not be. By omitting the word perfect from the Scout Law, we recognize that scouts and Eagle Scouts will fail. Winston Churchill said, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." My advice to you is fail often. It might seem odd for me to tell you that on this occasion when we celebrate such a success as earning the rank of Eagle Scout. But failing is healthy. We learn faster from failure than we do from success. We often talk about people's successes and we forget about their failures. And the candy-coated worldview that InstaChat and Snapagram have created where people, I know I said them wrong, I did that on purpose, where people only post their best selves or they want us to believe what's their best selves is not a reflection of reality. So let's talk a minute about those who have failed. Abraham Lincoln lost his first election to the Illinois state legislature. Before he won the presidency in 1860, he suffered 2 U.S. Senate defeats. Barack Obama lost the 2000 Democrat primary for the U.S. House of Representatives to an incumbent by a vote of 2-1. Henry Ford failed at business 5 times before he created the Ford Motor Company. Macy started 7 businesses before he hit it big with his New York flagship store. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers before Harry Potter was published. John F. Kennedy, who was widely known for his oratory skills, got a C- in his public speaking class in high school. Personally, I was rejected from every law school to which I applied except one, which turned out to be exactly the school I was supposed to attend. One task that I was assigned at Norfolk Southern was to lead the coordination of our Investor Day. Investor Day is a big event where the company invites Wall Street analysts in and they hear presentations about what the company's achieved and what the company aspires to do in the future. And we used an internal meeting of Norfolk Southern to do a dry run, to do a practice in front of 500 senior executives. And one part of it did not go well. In fact, it went really poorly. We learned that one particular presenter could not read from a script at all, and it took away his impact and his energy to be tied to a script. The second day of that meeting, I got up in front of the entire group and I said, "That's on me, and we will fix it before Investor Day." We did. We unshackled that speaker from a script, and Investor Day was a better success because we had failed first. In fact, it's a lot like what we experienced during Staff Week at summer camp last summer. If you think back to Staff Week, the very first night we were there, we practiced how to lead a song. And in all fairness to all the summer camp staff who were here, we weren't really good at it that night, right? And so we practiced. And we held a practice campfire, and then we had a practice closing campfire. And both times we stopped a lot and we redid things. And in fact, we weren't good enough at it then, so we changed the schedule with our rigid flexibility, and we did another practice campfire on Friday night just to get better at it. Our early struggles made our staff better at songs and skits and shows, and I'd say that by the end of the summer, that was actually one of our strengths. But we only got stronger at it because we allowed ourselves to fail and be silly in front of one another. Yogi Berra, the New York Yankees great, was known for his sayings, which came to be called Yogiisms. One of them was, "When you get to the fork in the road, take it." Well, when you read Yogi's book, it turns out that when you're driving to Yogi Berra's house, there is in fact a fork in the road, and the driver can turn left or the driver can turn right. And it didn't matter because the road merged again to get to Yogi's house. You will have moments in your life that feel like gigantic decisions. People may exaggerate your anxieties about decisions like whether to go to college, where to go to college, whether to work at a summer camp or at the pool, whether to take job A or job B, whether to stay with your company, whether to move your family. At the end of the day, each of these decisions is just a fork in the road. You will always end up exactly where you're supposed to be. There isn't a single correct path to any destination. When I led the Norfolk Southern Law Department, we had 30 lawyers in the law department. No two of them arrived at the Norfolk Southern Law Department by the same path. They are a testament to the fact that there is no right undergraduate school, and there's not even a right law school. So let me close with this. Bruce Springsteen happens to be one of my favorite musicians. You may not know who Bruce Springsteen is, but I would encourage you to go listen to Bruce Springsteen. One of my favorite songs is called Glory Days, in which the protagonist of the song laments the fact that he believes his best days are behind him, or at least behind the friend that is describing him. At the end of the song, Springsteen sings, quote, "Well, time slips away and leaves you with nothing, mister, but boring stories of glory days," close quote. The song's especially powerful when you realize that it's actually a trap. The trap is that although at times we may think our glory days are behind us, not all of them are. So even on the hard days when you fail, remember this: there are always more of our best days ahead. Make those days ahead not only glorious for you, but also for others through your continued devotion to servant leadership and the ideals of scouting. May your glory days always be ahead of you. Again, congratulations on the rank of Eagle Scout. Welcome to the club, and thank you for letting me be a part of this important day.
Bo, Luca, thanks for giving me an opportunity to address the crowd. Scouts, OA members, Scouters, and honored guests. I appreciate the opportunity to discuss something very dear and near to my heart. We'll talk about acorns will be mentioned during this story. The acorns come from a famous white oak tree where when a tree grows in an area of significant historical event is known as a witness tree. This white oak is over 300 years old and grows on the shores of the Potomac River near Pope's Creek in northern Peninsula, Virginia, the birthplace of George Washington. During the 18th century, the western frontier stretched the Ohio River Valley, included the Allegheny and Monongahela rivers. Seneca Indian braves on hunting parties needed to travel fast and light. They carried a small deerskin pouch, and with the essential valuables such as flint and dry kindling, they could always make a fire for warmth and cook a warm meal. An important and powerful Seneca Indian chief by the name of Guyasuta lived in the Ohio River Valley. During the 1750s, the French began to encroach into the Ohio country that the British claimed for Virginia and Pennsylvania. In 1753, the Lieutenant Governor of Virginia sent a young major in a Virginia militia by the name of George Washington at the age of 21 to the Ohio country on a diplomatic mission to deliver an ultimatum to the French. Commander of Fort Lebeau and demanded that the French leave the area. It was on this mission that George Washington and Guyasuta first met, and they developed a deep respect for each other. Washington and Guyasuta traveled up the Allegheny River to deliver the message to the French. Of course, the French refused to leave the Ohio River Valley, and a year later started the French and Indian War. The British drove the French from the Ohio River Valley, and Fort Duquesne became Fort Pitt. Fort Pitt became Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Otherwise, it would have been known as the city of Duquesne, Pennsylvania. In October 1770, George Washington was on a survey mission down the Ohio River. Guyasuta and Washington always maintained a mutual respect for each other, despite being on opposite sides during the French and Indian War and Pontiac's Rebellion. Guyasuta arrived at Washington's camp with a generous portion of meat from a bison shot early that day. The meeting was amiable as they discussed the future of the Ohio River Valley. It was on this visit that Guyasuta presented George Washington with a small deerskin pouch as a gesture of respect and friendship. In the spirit of this mutual respect and as a sign of friendship, the passing of a small deerskin pouch remains alive today as this pouch is passed to deserving braves and in Eagle Scouts. This pouch no longer contains just flint and kindling, but it contains special memorabilia for an Eagle Scout. The following explanation is given as a reminder for each of them what they represent. The drawstrings contain 3 wooden beads for the Scout Oath and 12 wooden beads, 1 for each point of the Scout Law. Feather from an eagle, a reminder of your mental and physical strength like the wings of the eagle, will carry you forward into the future. An Indian arrowhead for the leadership you have shown to achieve the rank of Eagle Scout and the leadership expected from you in the future. A talon from a hawk, like a strong grasp of the hawk's talon, you will be able to hold on to lessons of the past and forge new memories in the future. Wood chips of a tree gnawed by a beaver. Like a beaver, you have shown a great industrial effort to achieve the rank of Eagle Scout, and a reminder of all the hard work expected from you in the future. Acorns from a white oak witness tree in Virginia that grows today at the birthplace of George Washington. The acorn is a reminder of your humble beginnings in Scout, and like an oak tree, you have developed into a sturdy example of scouting as an Eagle Scout. As long as the oak tree lives, the oak tree never stops growing, and you will continue to grow with each step that you take in the future. And finally, in this small deerskin pouches, smoke from 1,000 campfires is captured to always remind you of the spirit of scouting.
As Scouts, we are bound together in brotherhood by the Scout Law, a sacred set of principles for living whose origins are lost in the mist of time. Listen now to the wisdom of the winds. Brother Guide, who are these persons who seek admission into our circle?
They are Bo and Lucas, two young men who believe they are worthy of the mark of the eagle.
Is there one here who can vouch for them?
Yes, I will vouch for these two young men and their abilities. I am Paul Wang, Eagle Scout, Vigil Honor member of the Order of the Arrow from their Blue Heron Lodge, their former Scoutmaster with Troop 587, and longtime mentor and advisor for both. I have served hundreds of hours, or seems like hundreds of years. I have served hundreds of hours over the past few years with these two young men, with unwavering certainty. These two are worthy of the Eagle Mark and should be admitted to the Brotherhood.
To wear the wings of the eagle, a young man must pass many seasons in his troop and must live out the principles of scouting in their everyday life. Had these young men done so?
They have passed through many seasons, and some quite challenging. They have participated actively in meetings and outings of the troop in our Blue Heron Lodge. Both have given untold, selfless time and action serving scouts in their own troop, as well as many lodge scouts. I have seen them live out the scouting principles without regard to stature, origins, or backgrounds of those that they serve. I can attest, without reservations, they have shown that the spirit of scouting is alive within them.
To enter the Eagle Eyrie, a scout earns all merit badges required, mastered the skills of scouting and exploring those career and hobby interests of their choosing. Had these young men done so?
Yes, both men earned the 21 necessary merit badges, 13 required and 8 chosen from personal interest. Both earned additional merit badges, 2 for Bo and 18 for Lucas. And I will vouch that they are both equipped with the mastery of the scouting skills. I would personally partner up with them in any of the scouting skill areas.
To become a member of the Eagle Brotherhood, they must serve his fellows by leading them. Had these young men done so?
Yes, they both eagerly went into leadership roles nearly as soon as they joined. You can see it in some of the pictures in the back. At the troop level, both served as patrol leaders, leading 5 to 6 scouts, peer scouts. Both served several years as a mentor, teacher, as troop guide and instructor, leading many group and one-on-one skills training sessions. Lucas served as senior patrol leader, the troop top youth position, and outdoor guide, the conservation advisor. In the Order of the Arrow at the lodge level, both served as Cape Henry chapter chief, leading an average of 50 youth and 25 adults. And elections chairs, working with 13 troops on new member elections throughout this area. Bo also served as a Langomat, ordeal guide for new members. Lucas also served as the lodge camping chair, directing lodge support to Camp Pipsico, and chapter vice chief, as well as leading this year's NOAC contingent, consisting of a year-long planning effort for 40 youth and 10 adults to attend a 15,000 attended national convention at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville in just a couple of months. They are among the few Eagles that are able and willing to continue in roles assisting the Scout unit and the Lodge. They will long be remembered for their servant leadership to fellow Scouts.
And finally, to become an Eagle Scout, they must serve their community through a special project, working gladly, not begrudgingly, in faithfulness to the principles of scouting. Had these young men done so?
Yes. Through several months, both secured a sponsor, thoroughly planned and led a team of youth to complete a project needed in the community. Lucas served this parish by rebuilding an outdoor prayer garden for the church community. Bo served another parish by remodeling a daycare room for the youth served there.
I am satisfied that Bo and Lucas have met the challenges of the Eagle without flinching. Brother Guide, you might bring the candidates into our circle. We have heard much tonight about what it means to be an Eagle. Lucas, Bo, tonight you joined the Brotherhood of Eagle Scouts. Much as you did when you joined our order and first wore the arrow, you are being honored not so much for what you have done, but for what you will do in the future. As you did at our council fire many seasons ago, you are committing yourself to a life of cheerful service and righteous living. My brothers, for now I am permitted to hail you by this endearing title. I ask that you take upon yourself the solemn obligations of the Eagle Scout promise. For the words you say are similar to those you've said many times before tonight. They will mean more to you now than ever before. Now I would ask Mr. Wang to tell us about what an eagle means to him and to lead the Eagle Scout promise with our new Eagle Scouts.
Scouts, and particularly Eagles, learn skills, of course, plus much more. They are pushed beyond just the core skill. Eagles are challenged and expected to develop a mastery of what I call the intersections of the tested skills. I call these intersections seams. I call these intersections seams because they are connections or combinations of one or several skills or traits. The highest level mastery is when a person knowingly and artfully combines seemingly unrelated skills, resulting in an amazing outcome. Through an openness to careful mentoring, a will to be their best, and enduring numerous personal experiences, some not so successful, as John pointed out, the seams and how to optimize the outcomes become clear. Some basic examples of this with respect to scouting. I'm sure you'll relate. In first aid, we all are told to put pressure on an open wound, but it can be enhanced greatly with a significantly better outcome when the person doing the pressurizing recognizes the person's afraid and helping them and others calm down around them. Cooking one meal, fairly simple, versus cooking for 6 to 10 scouts for the entire weekend, as Ms. Graham can attest to, in sub-freezing temperatures and or rain, pushing through personal sacrifice, getting up to a couple hours earlier than the others, perseverance and accepting that responsibility, because you've got the ball. Being a leader of a few scouts in a patrol, relatively simple and easy, versus leading an entire troop out of COVID for a year through about 100 activities balanced with other life personal commitments. Those are some simple seams. Becoming stronger through this learning process it's like heat does to metal. These men become more equipped. Here's a few more that are more complicated. First aid, safety, and kindness. Consciously conserving your own water on a long hike to give to a younger scout that you know will need it later. Mastering a self-leadership that becomes invisible. They just are always ready. Helping and teaching others to do that same thing. Then to teach, regardless of the age or the background, others to do the same thing and to teach that on, to pass it on. That's a seam. Learning a skill, teaching that skill, and then at the highest level having the patience and people skills to teach others to teach those skills. That's a seam. From demonstrating a personal and healthy self-advocacy to arguing one-on-one respectfully, to ultimately negotiating a compromise in a group of scouts for a larger good that are very diverse with both humility and respect for others. That's the seam. In the service example, on a higher order, participating in basic service to a community organization because hours are required. We all do it. To giving service to individuals or organization because the need is part of a bigger calling. You just become part of a group. To the final higher order, to spending untold hours, days, or months of service because the needs become an internal passion to support. With great personal sacrifice, even when others don't see it. Now I'll share a couple of glimpses of Lucas and Bo, and maybe you can watch for the seams in these two. Bo is a quiet person, but he is loudly known as one of the most giving servants in the lodge. When a new member joins the lodge, they endure a 24-hour ordeal. It is very safe, but pushes mental and physical strengths of all ages. They are led by a guide that never leaves them. He or she endures the trial side by side. Bo has been a new member guide, one of those individuals, called an Elangamat, ever since he joined himself, now for several years. We have 3 ordeals a year. This personal sacrifice is only chosen by a few, and you can count on one hand those that have done it as long as Bo has. It is the most selfless ordeal service in the lodge. You probably saw some of the seams. As for Lucas, COVID stopped people's daily routines, stopped us from participating, stopped scouting. Lucas volunteered to be one of the few leaders to stand up and bridge those times and move us back into a new normalcy. He overcame fears, his and others, ever-changing protocols, we all saw them, complete loss of interest and excitement to build a fresh start and ways for people to participate. He relayed an optimism even when he himself was looking for it. He acted out a very adult-like leadership role that even those twice his age struggle with. He helped push scouting and those in our Order of the Arrow and local area out into success. I stand here today and to attest these 2 Eagles are absolutely successful with a number of life's seams right now. And more to the point, they have early skills, the tenacity, and the stick-to-itiveness to master more. That's what being an Eagle means to me. Bo and Lucas, we're going to recite the promise now. As is customary, I ask all Eagle Scouts in the room or attending to stand up and rededicate themselves by repeating the Eagle Scout promise with our new Eagle Scouts, Bo and Lucas. Please make the Scout sign and repeat after me. I reaffirm my allegiance to the 3 promises of the Scout Oath. I thoughtfully recognize and take upon myself the obligations and responsibilities of an Eagle Scout. On my honor, I will do my best to make my training an example. My rank and my influence count strongly for better scouting and for better citizenship. In my troop and in my community. And in many contacts with other people. To this I pledge my sacred honor. Please be seated.
Stay here. Brother Guide, please escort the candidates' parents forward. Lucas, Bo, your parents have undoubtedly been your primary source of help and strength as you've journeyed along the Eagle Trail. No one will ever know the unnumbered acts of self-sacrifice from your mother. I would ask your mother to pin the Eagle Medal on your uniform. In recognition of your mother's devotion, please present her with this eagle pin. Your fathers have been a source of much advice and guidance, so I would ask him to present the Eagle Scout certificate to both of you. In return, please present your father with the Eagle lapel pin. And now, it gives me great pleasure to present your new Eagle Scouts, Lucas and Bo. Lucas, Bo, the eagle is strong and powerful. He flies unblinking into the face of the sun. He soars high and builds his nest on a pinnacle. Today, we've welcomed Lucas and Bo into the Brotherhood of Eagles. Thank you all for participating in this special event. And lastly, let's give our Eagle Scouts one more round of applause. I now call on Father Rene Castillo to give our benediction.
I'd like to invite all to stand, please. Hear the words of God and heed them. When you arise in the morning, give thanks for the morning light. Give thanks for your life and strength, for your food and the joy of living. Be merciful to those who are in your power. It is part of a chief to take care of the weak, the sick, the old, and the helpless. Show respect to all, but grovel to none. Be hospitable, be kind. A man tried and proven is at all times clean, courteous, and master of himself. Thus spoke the great chief, and thus you must do. Also remember the words of the east wind, who urged you to be trustworthy, loyal, and helpful. The west wind, who told you to be friendly, courteous, and kind. The words of the south wind, who reminds you to be obedient, cheerful, and thrifty. And finally, the words of the north wind, the most powerful of all, who admonished you to be brave, clean, and reverent. And as we conclude this assembly, we invoke the blessing of the Almighty. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord look upon you with kindness and give you his peace. Amen.
Again, I'd like to thank you all for coming out, and I invite you to join us at the reception. I now declare this council meeting closed. Have a great afternoon, and congrats again to Bo and Lucas.
Este es el mentor pin.
Yeah.
The mission. Which the mission? Are you talking about the second piece? Yeah, the mission. And the piece is by Enrico Morricone. It's beautiful. I have the mission. It was about these Jesuits in